If there's one thing that everybody wants in life, it's happiness. But how do we cultivate happiness in healthy and authentic ways? More than the fleeting moments of joy that we experience when we have a good time, or the initial burst of excitement that comes from success, or even the superficial feeling when you purchase something new. Now, happiness is an emotion that can be cultivated, and when it is, it can become a consistent part of our lives. So in this video, we're going to examine the 3 keys that enable you to unlock consistent happiness. Hey everyone, welcome to Mastermind Content. I'm Richard Oldale, and today we're going to dive into the topic of happiness and explore 3 essential keys to cultivating this emotion on a consistent basis. Now, these 3 keys are inspired by the wisdom of the Austrian psychologist and Holocaust survivor, Dr. Viktor Frankl. According to Dr. Frankl, the first of the 3 keys to happiness is to engage in creative work that offers value to you and, when possible, to others as well. Because doing something of value brings purpose and fulfillment to life. And creative work takes many forms, such as painting, writing, playing music, or even cooking a meal. Now, these activities not only stimulate your mind, but they also nurture emotional well-being. Now, research by the Czech psychologist, and I'm probably going to butcher his name here, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, describes this state of flow as one of the purest forms of joy. Now, you've probably experienced it yourself, for example, when you're absorbed in an activity and you lose all track of time. Now, whether you're building, drawing, or problem solving, or even lost in conversation, this state of flow is a process that brings fulfillment. Now, the reason for this is because creative art isn't just about making art for art's sake. It's about contributing something meaningful to the world. When you create something of value, whether that's a massive project or a personal project, or just spending time and having quality time with your friends and the family, you're contributing to this collective creative process, which means that you're contributing to your environment. Now, this sense of accomplishment builds self-esteem, which in turn contributes to feelings of happiness. The second key to lasting happiness is operating from a love-based centre. Now, human beings are inherently social creatures, and our relationships play a critical role in how happy we feel from day to day. In fact, studies show that having strong positive relationships is one of the most reliable predictors of long-term happiness. The longest running study on human happiness is Harvard's Grant study, which has a focus on emotional well-being. And what this study found was that close relationships are more important to your happiness than a successful career or accrued wealth. Now, it's clear that you feel happier when you're spending time with the people that you love the most, because the connection, the emotional connection that you have with these people is deep and meaningful. But relationships don't always have to be deep or lifelong. For example, simple moments of interaction with strangers, or a quick natter with a shop assistant that you see regularly, can provide you with an emotional connection that is heartfelt and warming. Sharing a joke with a stranger, for example, or helping an old lady across the road, or maybe you help a young mother struggling with a pushchair to get down some steps, are all these kind gestures which can make you feel more connected and fulfilled within yourself and towards others. Now, this may seem like an overly simplified and ridiculous way to cultivate happiness, but whenever we connect with others, our brains release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Along with dopamine, serotonin and endorphins, oxytocin is one of the primary neurotransmitters that play a significant role in happiness. It's oxytocin that makes you feel the warm, fuzzy feeling that you get when you have a positive interaction with somebody. Moreover, oxytocin lowers stress and promotes feelings of trust and safety. So whether it's with family, friends, or casual interactions with acquaintances, the love and care that we give and receive enhances happiness. The third key to finding true happiness is through meaning and purpose. Dr. Frankl taught that meaning can be found even in the most difficult circumstances. So, for example, Dr. Frankl was a prisoner in the Nazi concentration camps, and he discovered that meaning gives us the strength to face challenges and continue to grow. Now, finding meaning in life, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a grand purpose like finding the cure to a disease or helping to make the world a better place to live in some way or other. It can be as simple as finding meaning in your day-to-day activities, no matter how small or mundane they are. One of the biggest contributors to happiness is your attitude towards life, the attitude that you take towards your day-to-day experiences. For example, you may hate doing household chores, but the purpose of washing the dishes and tidying your living space is so that your home is comfortable, clean and germ-free. I mean, you wouldn't want to live around dirty dishes and empty food cartons stinking the place out, or dust and cobwebs everywhere, irritating your sinuses. So look at the bigger picture and recognise the reason for doing something, no matter how small and mundane. Now, almost everything can be assigned a positive purpose which has a constructive meaning to your life. And studies show that people who have a sense of purpose tend to have higher levels of well-being and life satisfaction. You're not going to find happiness by constantly pursuing things that you find pleasure and joy from. It's about doing things that matter to you the most, by contributing to your community, pursuing a passion, or being there for a loved one when they need you. Moreover, happiness is a habit. It has to be cultivated over time in all areas of your life. For example, you may love your job, but you don't have a family or social life, so you may feel more miserable and lonely in the evenings. Now, when that happens, to give your life more meaning in the evening, you probably turn towards bad habits and destructive habits, such as drinking or smoking. So I used to love my job and I loved my friends, but I smoked weed every night because it allowed me to escape from the mundane world of being on my own. My life didn't have any purpose and meaning, but cannabis fueled my imagination, which enabled me to escape. So how do we cultivate meaning? Well, you can start by asking yourself what matters to you the most. What drives you? What compels you to do something? What brings fulfillment? What is important to you? What are your goals? What are your values? Because when you know this, you can align your actions and the decisions that you take with outcomes that you most desire. And as I mentioned before, it can often be the small daily choices that we make, especially the ones that we take for granted, that can bring you closer to living life with meaning and cultivating happiness. But don't forget that the three essential keys to happiness are creative work, serving from a love-based centre, and meaning. Finding purpose and meaning in your life. So make time for creative expression, either through art, or it can even be like comedy and just joking around with your friends and being imaginative to make jokes. Whether it's setting aside an hour or two to write, for example, or do craft work or learn an instrument, just engage in activities that enable you to be creative. Use that innate creativity that we often lose during our school years. The second key, remember, is to operate from a love-based centre rather than a fear-based centre. And to operate from a love-based centre, you have to invest quality time in meaningful things and meaningful relationships. Take the time to connect with people around you, no matter what you're doing, and try and do it in a loving and caring way. express empathy, express your feelings, express compassion, reach out to friends, spend quality time with loved ones, express gratitude, do something for a stranger that helps them when you notice that they are struggling with something. Because all these interactions create a ripple effect that lifts your mood and cultivates happiness on a more consistent basis. And finally, by assigning purpose and meaning to things that you hate to do but have to do, then you recognise the bigger picture and feel more satisfied when you finish, knowing that you've contributed to something that makes your life better gives you a sense of achievement and satisfaction. Thus, the reward centre in the brain lights up and you get these positive neurotransmitters such as dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, etc. But on top of all that, it's also important to recognise that long-term happiness is not acquired through material possessions. Sure, buying new clothes can make you feel happy for a moment, but it's just fleeting, it's superficial. So if you're addicted to shopping, then you're probably not being rewarded in other areas of your life. And you can say the same thing for drinking too much, or like me, smoking cannabis, or just smoking in general, eating comfort foods. Whatever habit that you are drawn towards to help you relieve emotional pain and discomfort, it's probably because you're not finding enough rewards from your environment in other areas of your life. So happiness is something that has to be cultivated day to day, moment to moment. It's a habit. Happiness is a habit. And just before I go, there's one last thing I want to mention. Because if you are struggling with happiness, I want to offer you some help by giving you access to a free self-development strategy. And it's entirely free. Yes, you did hear that right. It is 100% free. So take advantage of this opportunity and learn how these powerful strategies can help you to cultivate happiness. Now you can download the PDF from the Mastermind Content homepage by simply scrolling down to the section with the image of this front cover, which advertises the 4-step path to finding purpose and meaning. And if you did enjoy this video, then please give it a like, share and subscribe to the Mastermind Content channel for more self-development content. And let me know in the comments what brings you happiness. I'd love to hear from you, so I look forward to reading your comments shortly. In the meantime, don't worry, be happy. I'm Richard O'Rail and this is Mastermind Content. Bye bye for now.